Welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to do a grocery haul, but stick around because I'm also going to try some new ways. In other words, it's going to be an experiment on how to store produce. That might just change how long your produce lasts. So stick around to the end and you'll see what I'm doing. First, you have to suffer through the grocery haul because it's more than produce. So, but hang in there because in the end you'll see how I store them. I use 3 different methods, and I am going to show you the methods, and I'm also going to show you the results the day after I post this video because it's a week late. So I will talk to you. I'll see you in a bit. Well, I had a grocery haul, so I figured I'd show you what I got. I got this bone-in ribeye steak for $7.90. That'll give me 3 meals. I got a pound of bacon for $3.99. I got these pork ribs for $3.98. The Jimmy Dean sausage was on sale for $3.99. The bell peppers were on sale for $3.99. The asparagus was on sale for $2.49 a pound, and it ended up being $2.51. The radishes were not on sale. They were $1.97. The green beans were on sale, and they were 99 cents a pound, and this cost me 5 cents. So that's 2 meals right there. The eggs, they were $4.49. The lemons were 2 for $1. The celery, $2.49. The carrots were $2. The grape tomatoes were $2.50. The spaghetti sauce was $1.66. That was, I can't find it, $4.29. The diced tomatoes were $1.69. This bread was $3.99. I should be making my own. The noodles were not on sale. The grapes were $1.99 a pound, and they were like $2.10. The strawberries were $2.50, and the Swiss cheese was $5. So I think I did pretty good. I got 13 sale items, and my total bill was $71.34. I can't calculate how much I saved because I don't want to go back to the flyer and figure out all the original prices. They don't put them, unfortunately, on the receipt. So it's too hard to figure out, so I'm not going to do that. But I'm pleased because it wasn't that much, and I think I got quite a bit of food. Well, I learned something today. I wash the vegetables as I've learned on YouTube to soak them in vinegar and water for about 10 minutes. So I did all the vegetables except the carrots and celery. And I was shocked to see the color of the water. Can you see it? That was clear. I'll show you a picture of what it looked like before. Okay, this is what the water looked like before I actually washed the vegetables, the produce. So you can see it's crystal clear. Well, I washed all the vegetables, And this is what the water looked like when I was done. I was shocked. I don't generally do a very good job washing my vegetables, but you can bet I'm going to from now on. To me, that's pretty dirty. I'm sure you would agree. Of course, there were root vegetables in there, like celery and carrots, but I took a picture before I did the celery and carrots, and it was pretty dirty too. I'll show you them all. Next, what I'm showing you is actually the produce after I washed it and after I dried it. It was actually quite a process, and it was quite a mess in my opinion. I have to confess, I don't do a lot of washing of my vegetables, and I should be ashamed of that because I figure if they look clean, they must be clean. But of course, bacteria is invisible, and so isn't a fungus. So these are my radishes. I washed them thoroughly. I trimmed off the top so there would be no, leaves or dead debris there. I tried to clean off anything around the stem, and I let them dry. I dried them multiple times, and I put them in a glass jar. Now, these glass jars I've been saving for quite a while, and they were accumulating. So I'm doing a dual purpose here. I did decide to put a paper towel in it. It's not a damp paper towel because I felt as though, even though I had dried the radishes, that they still felt damp to me, and I couldn't figure out any way, so I was concerned that there would be condensation. And then that would cause them to deteriorate. So we will see. I'll keep you posted. These are my tomatoes. Now, I have to say, I never ever wash my tomatoes. I wash these. I also never store them in the refrigerator. So this is something new for me, and I'm not really happy about it because tomatoes tend to taste better, and they stay, I don't know if you'd say fresher, but they just taste better when I leave them on the counter. But I'm going to, for the sake of this experiment, I am going to keep them in there. And I didn't put a paper towel at the bottom because they seemed to dry off well, I suppose with the hard shell. Now, these are peppers. There's yellow peppers, orange peppers, and a red pepper. And all I had was quart jars. I didn't have anything bigger than that, so I had to cut them, which is probably a major mistake in terms of them surviving without getting spoiled, but I'll probably use them before very long. Anyway, so once again, it's an experiment, so I had to cut them to fit in the jars. I washed them. They were very difficult to dry, and also because they're cut, there's moisture from the interior of the peppers as well. I did put a paper towel on the bottom, just a small piece, because I was concerned about the moisture. Here's my grapes. I did clean them. Usually the way I clean them is I leave them in the bag that they're in, and I just rinse the water over them just for a few minutes. But these I soaked in the vinegar and water. Here's my strawberries. Now, these are the ones that the people that are experts on preserving insist that they do better in the jars. One mistake that I made is I cleaned them. I washed them. So they don't recommend that you wash them. They recommend that you just put them in the jar, but I washed them, so that was mistake number one. I did put paper towels in there because I was concerned, once again, about the moisture. Here's the green beans, and the green beans I washed with the vinegar and water solution, and I was able to dry them, and I don't anticipate any problems with moisture. The celery, I washed and I cut into usable strips, which I don't usually do that. I never wash the celery until I actually use it, and I never cut it up. So this is going to be a real experiment for me because it's just not the way I do it. But so far, it looks okay. We'll see. Here's the bane of our existence, the lowly cucumber. Unfortunately, I bought this large one. I usually buy the pickling ones or the English ones, but this one was on sale, so it was like 65 cents or something. So I decided to buy it since I don't know how this experiment will work. I am just going to store it in the refrigerator in the crisper drawer just like I do every other time. I did, however, wash it with the vinegar solution, and I know that hopefully we'll see if that really works in making its life a little bit longer. Now, I had some of these, they're called vegetable bags, and I bought some one time on a whim. They were on, one of those, in the checkout aisle, they have these impulse buy items. Well, they had them for 99 cents. So I bought them, but I never used them. So what I did was I cleaned the asparagus, and I'm storing it in this bag. And hopefully that will work, because I don't usually clean my asparagus until I'm going to use it. Now here's another one of those mesh bags. And I am putting my carrots in it. Now I find I always just leave the carrots in the plastic bag that they come in. I never wash them because I feel I'm peeling them, and then I rinse them quickly before I use them. This time I did clean them, and I placed them in this mesh, supposedly vegetable bag. I don't see how that's going to make much of a difference. But so what I did is I marked and I labeled each jar with the date that I purchased and washed them and put them in the container. And since I'm posting this video a week later, I am going to post another video following this with the results of my experiment. So please like and subscribe and write a comment. Maybe you should save the comments for the results, because I have no idea what the results are because I haven't looked in my refrigerator. So please like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.